Oil just hit $112 a barrel. The Strait of Hormuz is shut. And suddenly, the world wants the one energy source it spent 40 years trying to kill. In this episode, we'll answer 3 questions. Why is a 40-year-old technology suddenly the most wanted asset on Earth? Who controls the nuclear supply chain, and where's the choke point? And is the small modular reactor revolution real or vaporware backed by billionaire hype? Let's start with the fear. 1979. 3 Mile Island. A partial meltdown. No deaths, but public fear peaks overnight. 1986. Chernobyl. 31 dead. 600,000 exposed. Global nuclear orders collapse. 2011. Fukushima. Germany shuts all 17 reactors. Nuclear hits a 30-year low. For 4 decades, nuclear was toxic politically, financially, and literally in the public imagination. Then in 2024, something broke the pattern. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, the companies building the future, started buying nuclear power. Not as a hedge. As a strategy. 3 forces hit at once. The oil shock. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, choking off 20% of seaborne oil. Energy security went from talking point to emergency. AI demand. U.S. data centers need 134 gigawatts by 2030, triple today's level. Solar runs at a 24% capacity factor. Wind, 35. Nuclear? 93. It's the only 24/7, carbon-free baseload source that actually scales. And policy. Trump signed 4 executive orders to quadruple U.S. nuclear from 100 to 400 gigawatts by 2050. The NRC finalized Part 53, the first new reactor licensing framework since 1956. 33 countries pledged to triple nuclear by 2050. In my view, this is the most aligned environment for nuclear energy in American history. The nuclear supply chain has 6 steps: mine, convert, enrich, fabricate fuel, run the reactor, deliver power. Most people assume the bottleneck is reactors. It's not. Russia controls 46% of global uranium enrichment. The US depends on Russia for a quarter of its enrichment services. And for HALEU low-enriched uranium, the fuel every next-generation reactor needs, Russia controlled 100% of commercial supply until 2025. That choke point shapes everything. Start at the mine. Cameco, ticker CCJ, is the world's second-largest uranium miner. 2025 revenue, $2.5 billion. They produce 21 million pounds and have 230 million locked in long-term contracts. Market cap, $49 billion. In March, they signed a $1.9 billion deal with India, 22 million pounds through 2035. Their 49% Westinghouse stake adds another $370 to $430 million in annual operating earnings from nuclear services. Uranium Energy Corp, ticker UEC, is the largest U.S. pure play. Zero debt. Over $800 million in liquid assets. Licensed for £12 million per year. They're the domestic option if geopolitics cut off foreign supply. Uranium spot peaked at $101 in January, now around $84. But the long-term contract price, $90 per pound, is the highest since 2008. The enrichment layer is where the real geopolitics live. Centrus Energy, ticker HALEU, is the only company in the U.S. licensed to produce HALEU. They've delivered over 900 kilograms to the Department of Energy from a small demonstration cascade in Piketon, Ohio. In January, the DOE awarded them $900 million to scale up. Total backlog, $3.8 billion extending to 2040. BWXT Technologies, ticker BWXT revenue, $3.2 billion, up 18%. Backlog, $7.3 billion, up 50% year over year. Up 112% in the last 12 months. They make fuel for every U.S. Navy reactor and just won the contract for North America's first small modular reactor vessel at Darlington, Ontario. These 2 companies sit at the narrowest point of the supply chain. Downstream, the companies running the reactors. Constellation Energy, ticker CEG, 21 reactors. 22 gigawatts. After completing the Calpine deal for $26.6 billion in January, they now control 55 gigawatts total. Market cap, $99 billion. The headline, 3 Mile Island Unit 1 restart, backed by a 20-year power purchase agreement with Microsoft at roughly $110 per megawatt-hour. Vistra, ticker VST, 6.4 gigawatts nuclear across 4 plants. Meta signed a 20-year PPA for 2.6 gigawatts of Vistra's nuclear output. 2026 EBITDA guidance, 6.8 to 7.6 billion. Look at this table. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta combined, Big Tech has committed over 10 gigawatts of nuclear capacity. In my view, this is the most important demand signal in the sector's history. The big question, are small modular reactors real? NuScale Power, ticker SMR. The only company with NRC design certification. 77 megawatt modules. They've announced a 6 gigawatt pipeline with Entra 1 and TVA. But 0 binding contracts signed. Market cap, $3.5 billion. Down 38% this year. Oklo, ticker OKLO. Sam Altman's bet. 15 gigawatts in their order book, including a 12 gigawatt deal with Switch. $2.5 billion in cash. But 0 revenue. 0 operating reactors. Market cap, $8.5 billion on nothing but a promise. On the private side, Google signed with Kairos Power for 500 megawatts by 2035. Bill Gates' TerraPower got its NRC construction permit in March, the first for a non-light water reactor ever. My read, SMRs are real. But 2030 at the earliest. The existing fleet is the only near-term play. Here's the full landscape. 8 companies across the nuclear supply chain. Notice the pattern. The companies closest to revenue, BWXT, Constellation, Vistra, Cameco, are profitable and growing. The ones building the future, NuScale, Oklo, are burning cash and trading on faith. That bifurcation is the story of this sector right now. Pause the video if you want to study the numbers. Every thesis has risks. The critical one, Hormuz reopens. Oil drops to 70. The urgency fades. Nuclear stocks, already 30 to 40% off their peaks, take another leg down. The second, SMR timeline slip. NuScale's UAMPS project in Idaho was cancelled in 2023 and wiped $4 billion in market cap. If Entra 1 doesn't convert to binding deals by late 2026, expect a repeat. Now, 3 signals worth tracking. Watch the uranium long-term contract price above 95 means utilities are panic buying. Watch for a NuScale binding power purchase agreement. Any real contract transforms the entire SMR sector. And watch for a behind-the-meter nuclear deal, a reactor built directly at a data center, bypassing the grid. That reprices every nuclear utility stock. Most likely path, I'd put it at 60 to 65% probability. Hormuz deal gets done. Oil retreats to 85. Nuclear stocks correct another 10 to 15%, then rebound on structural AI demand. Uranium term price breaks 95 by year-end. 1 SMR binding contract gets signed. The accelerator, Iran escalates, oil holds above 100, and nuclear urgency stays acute. The derailer, fast ceasefire, oil collapses, narrative shifts away from energy security overnight. Upstream, a uranium breakout benefits CCJ and UEC. Most every $10 above 80 drops nearly straight to the bottom line. Downstream, if nuclear demand accelerates, the grid upgrade thesis from episode 1 reactivates. GE Vernova, Eaton, Quanta, all indirect nuclear beneficiaries. 4 takeaways. Nuclear is the only power source that scales for AI. The bottleneck is enrichment, not reactors. SMRs are real but years away. And uranium points to $100, watch the term market, not spot. I'm Big Z, follow me, see you in the next deep dive.